Hello, dear students. Welcome to another lecture of pharmacy practice. In that, we are discussing about interpretation of clinical laboratory tests. In this point, we have seen in the introduction that the human body is having many organs which are necessarily to be having the proper functioning to maintain the internal environment along with uh, physiology of the body. Okay, if the limits of these all physiological factors changes, it indicates some disease in the body, and these parameters are generally determined by performing different diagnostic tests which are called as clinical laboratory tests to get the detailed information of that specific disease. Okay, so that a doctor or a physician will be able to interpret the disease and will be able to treat the patient effectively with the proper drugs. Further, we have also seen which are different types of test results: positive results or negative results. Positive test results means the substances are uh, found to be present in the tests. Okay, the amount is might be higher or lower than the normal values which are there, and negative means the substance is in the normal condition or normal range. Okay, negative test. While one more possibility is there, inconclusive tests, that are means the results are not clearly understood, even not positive and not negative. Okay, that also we have gone through the example. Then false positive test and false negative test, that have also been discussed. Okay, false positive test that shows the disease condition when it is uh, shown positive results actually, but uh, the person is not having the disease, or the person is not showing the symptoms. Okay, while the results are there positive. We have seen the example of pregnancy. Okay, while in case of false negative test, that is the patient is having the disease, but the test results are negative, so that is called as false negative test. Again, we have seen these. It is the results are generally different than some standard range. Okay, but actually those are not the problem of the patient. Okay, there are certain reasons which changes such ranges, or the results are varying due to some reasons that also we have discussed, like pregnancy, the medicaments you are taking. Okay, if you are eating something just before the tastes. Okay, or if you are smoker, and if under tension or stress is there. So these are different conditions which may affect the test results, even though you are not having any problem related to those tests. Okay, then next thing, the values or the reference ranges, that is the standards, generally possibly differ from one lab to another lab. Okay, in short, I have told you there are certain reasons behind that. Okay, the labs may use different types of lab testing equipments. Okay, or the machineries which might be varying or might be different manufacturer, okay, and sometimes they may use different tests because to check or detect some specific ingredient there might be different tests available. So due to that reason also there are chances they may vary. Again, another possibility, they may set their own reference ranges, that is the standard range or limits what they are setting. Okay, they might be set by the lab itself. Okay, that is also the problem. Then your lab report will contain the reference ranges that lab uses. And actually what we have to do should not go for the comparison of such results of different labs. Okay, but if there is huge difference, we should go for inquiring or detail mm, inspection that why this changes is there. Okay, if actually the problem, it should be sorted. Otherwise, whatever lab results are there, they are having the mentioning of the reference ranges as per their method, as per their equipments, okay, as per the test they have conducted for that particular substance or particular disease. So uh, there should not be actually the comparison made. So these are many of the reasons by which the possibility of variation in the limits of the drugs, the chemical substances responsible for different diseases or physiological substances may vary from lab to lab. Now next point is the hematological parameters which are there as per our syllabus. Okay, hematology means all the parameters needed to be studied which are present in the blood. Okay, first we should know about the erythrocytes, the RBCs, okay, WBCs which are called as leukocytes and their subtypes, then platelets which are also called as thrombocytes, and along with hemoglobin. Okay, then different fibrinogen which are responsible for the clotting of blood. Okay, so these are some factors which are present in the blood and their ranges, what are the problems if they are increase or decrease or they are ruptured. So you should be able to interpret the results as per means you should be interpret the outcome of the test so that you will be coming to know exactly what is the problem with such hematological parameter. Okay, first of all, CBC, okay, might have come across when you generally if a patient is going to any doctor. Okay, if there is a problem they ask you to check the blood, means what they used to the word they are generally using is CBC, means simply complete blood count. Okay, CBC, which is might be sometimes with or without the differential count. Okay, it is one of the most common blood test. Okay, as by which you can, means the doctor can easily diagnose the problem if it is related to the hematology. This complete blood count can help to detect different blood diseases or disorders like, see, we know, okay, anemia, then some certain infections in the blood, then the problem in clotting, Okay, even if any problem of the cancer related to the blood called as blood cancer and immune system disorder. So these are some of the reasons by which the variation in the count may be observed in the results. Okay, the peripheral venous blood is collected in a lavender tube which contains anticoagulant called as EDTA and should be thoroughly mixed. That is simply the procedure while collecting or after collecting the sample. Those should be put into this collector which is called as peripheral venous blood collector. Okay, or the tube which is used is called as lavender tube. This is having the, we know about it, anticoagulant EDTA. Okay, and if it is thoroughly mixed, they will be giving you the proper possibilities of counting the parts or different organelles of the blood. So here in the figure you can see how the sample is been collected generally. Okay, in different laboratories. An unacceptable sample generally is clotted if it is, or if it has been collected before 48 hours. So that blood sample is not acceptable for testing. Okay, that is obvious because uh, generally the problem arises, okay, in the blood. The clotting happens even though you are adding it, okay, that anticoagulants in the blood, they may go for clotting after many hours. Okay, like 44 or 48 hours there are chances the clotting may happen, and some other problem also occurs in the blood. So it should be avoided to go for testing of such old specimen. Okay, generally the method or the equipment used is called as whole blood analyzer. Okay, to test the blood counts. Then next we'll be moving to the actually different problems. Okay, first of all, the RBC, red blood corpuscles, actually, which are called as, okay, the normal value in male is 4.7 to 6.1 million cells per microliter. Okay, which is indicated like this, cells per mlc. So these ranges sometimes may vary. Okay, just before I told you, labs may set their own reference ranges. Okay, because even if you refer different books even on the internet, you will find some minor variation in the lower and upper limit. Okay, those are generally due to the population or the people from different part of the world. Okay, they are having a certain variation, but generally this range has been set. Okay, 4.7 to 6.1 billion cells per microliter in male, while in female 4.2 to 5.4 million cells per microliter for RBCs. If there is deficiency of the RBCs, it might be due to these problems or diseases like hemocytic anemia, which is the decreased number of RBCs in the blood. Okay, then again it might be due to the excess bleeding. Okay, that is, if any wound is there or any fracture or accident, due to that if the blood loss has happened, it may show that the test results may shows lesser number of RBCs in the CBC count. Okay, and sometimes hereditary spherocytosis, which is a rare blood disorder in which there is defect in the RBCs. Okay, uh, which cause them to be shaped like spheres and they can break easily, which is called as hereditary spherocytosis. Okay, uh, you can see the figure over here. See, normal RBCs look like this. Okay, while the damaged uh, blood, that is RBC, look like this. See, you can see the damaged cells over here. Okay, then if the levels are more, okay, of the RBC, that is also sometimes observed in the tests. It's called, condition is called as polycythemia, overproduction of RBC in it. Okay, then about further the RBCs problems called as red blood cell enzyme disorders. Okay, it is important to recognize and diagnose for proper supportive care, monitoring and treatment. Like many diseases, glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency. This deficiency is an X-linked disorder, mostly uh, characterized by episodic hemolysis in the setting of oxidative triggers, okay, such as infection and due to certain drugs which are administered. Okay, second, enzymopathies like pyruvate kinase deficiency, okay, which should be suspected in certain patients of different ages. Okay, with a chronic hemolytic anemia, generally in the absence of immune mediated hemolysis, or hemoglobinopathy, or certain evidences of a red cell membrane disorder. Okay, that is the enzymopathies or pyruvate kinase deficiency. While next one is the splenectomy, is partially abnormal, ameliorates the anemia in most of the patients with the deficiency of enzyme called as pyruvate kinase and certain other red blood cell enzyme disorders. So these are the few of the diseases. Further, more are there, like glycolytic red cell disorders, which are caused by congenital hemolytic anemias, okay, with wide clinical heterogeneity and certain frequent complications like neonatal jaundice, sometimes gallstones, and the both transfusion related and transfusion independent iron loading, which causes this glycolytic red cell disorders. Then one more is there, mean corpuscular volume MCV, okay, which is measuring the average size of RBC. It is said that the abnormal MCV levels are indication of anemia or thalassemia. Okay, and uh, generally the normal values for the size, okay, are in the range of 76 to 100 cubic millimeter or millimeter cube. The condition if the size of RBC is increased called as macrocytic, while decreased size is called as microcytic. Okay. Then about WBCs, white blood cells. Okay, we are having the ranges with us. In the normal value of WBCs generally are 4000 to 11,000 per microliter. In that, if you go for a separation of those all types of WBCs, okay, see figure is also there with us how the cells look like. The monocyte, okay, then the another one is the eosinophils, then neutrophils, then basophils and monocytes. So these all five possible types present in the blood types of WBCs. Okay, their ranges are like this: neutrophils 2500 to 7500, that is 2500 to 7500 numbers of neutrophils per microliter. Similarly for eosinophils 500 per microliter, basophils 0 to 300 microliter, lymphocytes 3000 per microliter, and monocytes 200 to 600 per microliter. So that is the normal ranges of these WBCs in our body. Then the problems called as deficiencies of WBCs, okay, which are the different diseases. First is called as leukopenia, which is the decreased number of WBC in the blood. Okay, it is called as leukopenia. Then neutropenia, decreased number of neutrophils. Okay, that might be due to the diseases called as aplastic anemia. Sometimes if you are undergoing chemotherapy, okay, for cancer, or myelodysplasia, typhoid fever, or hyperglycemia. So these are the diseases in which you will the test results will shows the less number of neutrophils in the body or in the blood itself. Okay, while third one is the basophenia, which is lesser number of basophils which are due to the disease called as thyrotoxicosis or acute hypersensitivity reactions. Then fourth one is lymphocytopenia, which is decreased number of lymphocytes in the blood, which might be due to again some infection called as a viral infection, systemic lupus erythematosus, SLS, rheumatoid arthritis, RA, okay, or myasthenia gravis, MG. So these are some diseases in which this lesser number of lymphocytes were seen, while again decreased number of monocyte, the condition is called as monocytopenia, and which is due to some diseases called as monomac syndrome, okay, which is the risk of infection with certain organisms including a group of bacteria called as Mycobacterium avium complex, hence the word MAC, MAC, and that are generally related to the TB, okay, tuberculosis, or might be human papillomavirus, that is HPV, and certain fungi. So these may cause decreased number of monocytes in the body. Okay, if the ranges, okay, are going lesser than these, okay, at that time we can say the problems are these. Okay, then increase number or elevation in the WBCs. Okay, if the count is more in the blood for WBC, there are certain conditions. First is called as leukocytosis. Okay, where the WBCs generally increases the upper limit, it is 11,000 per microliter. Okay, more than it, leukocytosis, overall WBCs. Then neutrophilic leukocytosis, obviously the increased number of neutrophils in the blood. Then basophilia, it is increased number of basophils, which is due to the disease called as hypothyroidism or myeloproliferative disorders. Then eosinophilia, increased number of eosinophils in the blood, which is due to some certain parasitic or fungal infections. Again, might be allergies or skin disorders, or might be the presence of toxins in the blood that causes increased number of WBCs, specifically the eosinophils. Then increased number of lymphocyte causes lymphocytic leukocytosis. Okay, while monocytosis is the increased number of monocytes in the blood, which are due to certain diseases, again like sarcoidosis and Langerhans cells, histocytosis, or your might be autoimmune disorders which are causing the increased number of monocytes in the WBCs or in the blood. Okay, then next one is the platelets, another important factor of the blood. Okay, the normal value for platelets generally is 1,50,000 to 4,50,000 per microliter. Okay, the number should be in between these ranges. If there is lesser number, that is called a deficiency of platelets. The condition is called as thrombocytosis. Thrombocytopenia, which is decreasing the number of platelets. Okay, while the increased level are called as thrombocytosis. Okay, elevated levels, and that can be due to the acute bleeding or blood loss, cancer, infection, or removal of spleen. So this may cause the uh, increased number of platelets in the blood. Okay, students, will be stopping over here. So what we have studied today, simply different blood parameters. Okay, it is called as hemocytological or hematological parameters, like blood, complete blood count, in that RBCs, about their different diseases, WBCs, their conditions, and platelets. Okay, about remaining part of blood tests and certain urine analysis that we'll be discussing in our next lecture. Thank you.